New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring. And hello again, dear ones. Dr. Robert with you here on a Friday evening. It's 7:30 on the Mountain Time Zone, and it is the last Friday of the month, which means it is our once-a-month program, Ask Me Anything, the opportunity we have to be together. And, well, just as the title says, you can ask me anything, and I will give you an answer. The form that answer takes, I don't know. So, yeah, that's how it is. And it's a spooky-tacular type of evening because, well, here we are. It's Halloween, and there are, and we've been giving out, well, my kids have been giving out a little bit of candy this year. We don't give out an awful lot of candy much anymore. It doesn't seem to be a thing, this neighborhood. So I need to turn my monitor so that I can not have to. There we go. All right. We've got 90 minutes, which means we now have 88 minutes left. And you're welcome to ask me anything you like. You're welcome to shout it out in the comment box. If you'd like to come on to into the studio, you can let me know that in the comment box. And I get to, and here's the fun thing is I don't come into this evening's program with anything in mind. I Friday nights, by the end of the work week, and dinner with the family, and I don't drink very much anymore, so I make myself a little seltzer and berry stuff, berry flavoring to go in my seltzer, and hang out here. Chat into the chat box. Ask a question. Leave a comment. We'll say a big thank you to the folks at Center for Spiritual Living Boulder Valley. It's thanks to them all that this gets to happen. They support this program and sponsor this program once a month on Friday evenings. Ask Me Anything. If you are here and a member of Center for Spiritual Living Boulder Valley, give a shout out. Let me know you're here. And anyone else that's watching, now if you're watching on a replay, that's cool. You can fast forward to. I'm going to go back in. I've decided that I'm going to start adding chapters to these. So what that means is that following the program, I'll go back in and add little chapter markers as to where each question maybe starts or where a different section starts or something like that. So that is if I truly enjoyed tonight's program. If nobody asks any questions, then it gets to be a real long hour and a half of me babbling about and talking about, well, I don't know, anything that might come up. It's much more fun when we get questions from the audience. So it's called Ask Me Anything. Or you can literally ask me anything you like, and I'll give you an answer. How's that sound? Or I could just go off babbling about some topic that I find interesting in the world today. Or, you know what I could do? You know what would be fun? Let's do this real quick. See, this is what happens when you ask me anything and I tune in to what's going on in the world. So I want to share something with you. Let's go here. And over the past year, And it is just about a year now, actually, that I have been writing on Substack. That we launched a Substack page. Oh, that's interesting. If I go like that, it's actually bigger. Interesting. And in that Substack and in the writing of Substack, it takes me into some really interesting places, because I do 2 articles a week, and every week I do 2 articles and publish on Tuesdays and Fridays, and really give us an opportunity to take kind of a look at where New Thought is, where the New Thought movement is headed, where things are happening. And sometimes the topic of the day seems to be a divine download, and sometimes the topic is something that just kind of floats into my head from somewhere. But what I've been contemplating is kind of the subtitle of this one: finding the balance between our virtual lives and our embodied spiritual community. So what I'm talking about is that both and that happens when we want to, and I'm going to get, let's take that out. I don't know if I like that very much. Let's go back to this. I don't like the pumpkins. So the idea is that I believe in the next handful of years, specifically, in-person spiritual community is making a comeback, if you will. Now, all the Pew Research and all that stuff that's come through over the last year, couple of decades now, I've been hearing it. I've been hearing this stuff since back in 2004 and 2005, that church attendance is down, that not as many people are attending church as used to, that across all denominations, especially Sunday service attendance is down. And if you want to look at the numbers of our Centers for Spiritual Living and other New Thought communities, most of my colleagues will report similar experiences around that. So if we look at what's going on from a perspective that church attendance is down, and yet I see more and more New Thought beliefs being professed, being taught, being shared by more and more people that never say the words New Thought, never talk about unity or science of mind or religious science or divine science or any of where all this comes from. I sometimes wonder if what would happen if there really was a can you run, and some of my colleagues might, I got a couple in mind that might really love this question. Can we run a spiritual community that doesn't look like a church, but still provides us with all of the assurances and the sense of community and all that a church provides? Because spiritual community, more and more than ever, is really important. And I think in the coming years, it's going to be even more important to know, who can I rely upon? Whose hands do I know I can call upon if I really need it? And who can trust me enough to call on me? That there are people that know they can call on me and my family and my network and whoever it might be in times of I don't want to label the time. We have enough of that going on. I want to create a deeper sense of security around the ideas that Martin Luther King Jr. brought forward as far as the beloved community and how we do that. And interestingly, and this is kind of the gist of my Substack article today, is I'm saying this, and over the last 5+ years, we have developed a fairly strong community in the virtual space that is not, most of us very rarely ever see each other and are able to give each other a handshake or a hug or yeah, I'll be right over with a casserole, or hold on, let me grab my shovel and come help, or my hip waders and my mop and come help. And I believe that currently that is going to be a very, very important part of what comes next in America, what comes next in much of the world, that resurgence, if you will, of in-person community. Now, it doesn't mean that the tech gets thrown away, and it doesn't mean that we don't continue to embrace virtual connection, because long before I found myself championing the concepts of focused ministry and specialized community. Oh, there's a new way to say it. I like that. Specialized community. Excuse me. Long before I came into any of this, I was fully invested in the concepts of both and. That it's always a both and. So I think that where we are now is we're at a point where there's a tension between what technology makes possible and what our human heart still needs, what our human heart still desires. Right? We're not going backwards. This isn't about going backwards. This isn't about recreating what once was. We're not talking about filling concert halls in LA with thousands and thousands and thousands of people every week, just fawning over themselves to get in the door. We're not going back. And it's not just a political slogan either, by the way. It's a spiritual truth at this point. We're moving ourselves forward into, I believe, a greater demonstration of how these principles live through us, as us, live into the world. And they make a difference when we're in the supermarket, or when we're at the library, or do people still go to libraries? Or when we're out in the world. Because living alone behind the screen, wondering what is AI and not, is a dystopian nightmare on par with all the other ones that we've been fed throughout our childhood. I said this on I was talking Rev Z this morning on Ministers Talking Shit, and hey, look, the coffee mug's still here. Very limited edition Ministers Talking Shit coffee mug. And I just said coffee. I'm a tea guy. I drink tea. I don't drink coffee. And I'm being silly with myself. Sometimes spirits whispers in my ear that that I do fully believe is only for me to hear. So feel free to join in the conversation, folks. If you're just wondering what you stumbled into, this is Ask Me Anything. My name is Reverend Dr. Robert Brzezinski. You're welcome to join the conversation and ask me anything you would like, and I'll be more than happy to provide you with an answer. It may not be the answer you anticipate, may not be the answer you want, May not be an answer that I feel, it may not be a question I feel like answering, but I'll give you an answer of some sort, I promise. And so uh so physical community is so incredibly important. And it's not that the virtual is going to augment that. It is not that the virtual is going to replace that. It is that there is a whole new way coming forward where we are really bound, connected, united in spirit in both the physical and the virtual. And when possible, yeah, get out to the party, get out into the community, come to a center, come to an event, come to a retreat, come to something, come be a part of a new way. That's what New Thought Media Network's all about. Working in collaboration with people from across the New Thought movement to support creators, to support those that are just learning this philosophy, to support those that have a rich and perhaps storied history. Okay, perhaps we have a rich understanding and a storied history with the organizations, because that seems to be a theme. I know a lot of people, I talk to a lot of people that have wonderfully animated, wonderfully crafted, wonderfully told stories about the organizations in the past and the current ones that create this New Thought movement. And I have I gotta write this one down, because the phrase that keeps hitting me, and I'm gonna keep using it, and it's not mine as original, is I want to make the movement move. And there's a great artist by the name of Nako who uses that line in a slightly different way, and I want to adopt that, and I'm looking for a musician to adapt it. Gary Lynn Floyd, I'm talking to you if you can hear me, to bring that focus that we've got to make this New Thought movement move. The days of sitting in the church pews are over. We've got to make the movement move. Now, maybe that means that rather than a Sunday service, we do a Sunday chow down. Here we go. All right, Spirit's riffing off the top of the head now. Let's think about that one for a minute. When do people come to church? Sunday mornings. Are there people in the community around where you live that are probably hungry for a meal on a Sunday morning? Yeah. What if that meal came at Sunday at noon instead of Sunday morning? And what if Sunday at 10 o'clock, instead of people filing in and grabbing a cup of coffee and sitting down and listening to some wonderfully informed speaker, what if we got together and created community by cooking breakfast? And what if a few people came in at 10 o'clock and started getting the kitchen warmed up? And what if at 10:30 a few more people came in and started to get the kitchen really cooking? And what if at 11 a few more people came in and started to greet the guests of the people that have come to understand they can get a warm meal and a sympathetic shoulder and a place to be seen and to be heard and to perhaps belong? And what if somewhere along the line that chow down turns into an open mic and somebody shares a prayer or somebody shares a message? Or I think that the days of our greatest product being our philosophy are over, or the greatest product that we have as New Thought people, I believe, is our compassion, our sense of oneness, so that we can look beyond the problems that people have or the ways that they're perhaps behaving in order to bring forward some good in the world. And so what if our greatest churches turn Sunday into a day of service rather than a day of being served? And some are going to say, well, Robert, we're in an area that the homeless don't really hang out, or, we don't really have a kitchen in our church, or we don't have this, or we don't have that. And what I've learned in my time in this philosophy is there's no such thing as those limitations. Everything, borrow the words of Marie Forleo, everything is figure outable. Put a few good people together and to take a look at any problem, any concern, any initiative that we might have. And it works, and we can make it work. I can only imagine the amount of good we can do. And as someone leading a virtual community, I get these great ideas, but I don't have a building with a kitchen in it. I don't have a building. We don't have that physical location, and yet we could find our ways to mobilize and to serve. And as I'm hearing it, I'm going to put it on my list of things to do here. Where's my latest to-do list? I guess I'm going to make a new one right here. In this new, I want to find a way for us as a community to better celebrate the involvement that we have in our communities, wherever we might be. Now, I don't know what that's going to look like, but I'm feeling that sense of calling. I'm feeling that sense of saying, Spirit, talking about the philosophy is a small portion of it all. I want to highlight and I want to focus on people that are doing good in the world. I want to find a way to, even the small things, I want to find a way to highlight and focus on the people that are making a difference in their immediate communities. Reverend Dr. Beverly, I keep getting Reverend Dr. Tanya Beverly. She added a doctor to her string of titles this year. So Reverend Dr. Tanya Beverly is one of those people, and she just did an interview with Anton. She was just a guest on Dr. PJ's show, Thought Leader Thursday this week, and explaining how involved she is in her local community and how so involved she is getting her church in her local community around food security and food insecurity, and how to support people in becoming more food secure in their lives. And everything from bucket gardens to container gardens to different things, as well as how to keep a community involved in the distribution and the free sharing of, and those are kind of places where I believe we can make the most difference. We don't need a weekly gathering to talk about, to preach about, to teach about forgiveness, or to teach about what the teens are doing this month, or we've got to stop being such social clubs and start being active clubs of activity, clubs that say, groups of people that say, this is where I am here to serve, and this is what I must do. This is where I'm here to serve, and this is what I must do. I must feed people. We must clothe people. We must house people. We must, and Believe me, I fully understand. If you're still watching at this point, I hope you understand that I am fully aware that I'm really just talking to myself here tonight. You may have found this program on a replay. You might have found this program years from now. Some of this might get pulled up and used in a retrospective someday, but I want y'all to know I recognize I am preaching to myself here this evening, because this is where I see new thought can make the most impact in the world, in the evolution of human consciousness. And not everybody's going to want to do the same thing, but that's okay. The United Nations have identified 17 sustainability goals to keep the planet on track. One of those is to address food insecurity and create a stable network of food distribution, health, all that. That's a place where I feel called. Others are going to be called to other things. Reform of our political system. Amen. Reform of our media networks. Amen. And I believe New Thought Media Network, yeah, we're a part of that. It's always been kind of the vision and part of what we are and who we are, to say we want to serve in this way, and we want to be part of the change, and we want to be part of the solution to what are the apparent shortcomings that are happening in the world right now. The places where there is separation, and the places where there is fear, we are here to heal all that, to go beyond all of that, to make it up differently in a way that allows us to, I just noticed the typo in the name of tonight's program, and I really can't change it. I can change it on YouTube. There we go. Let's do that at least. And you're going to find yours. No, it won't change. You will find yours. And whether you're part of a virtual community, whether you're part of a physical community, whether you're part of both, whether you're part of a hybrid community, which is what I strive for New Thought Media Network to be. And that's why it's been in my heart, and I'm going to say it here tonight, because in 2026, I have a deep, deep commitment to serving this community, New Thought Media Network, in the taking our belief into embodiment, taking our beliefs, taking this, what we're creating, and putting some ground under our feet, putting some seats under our butts, putting a stage together, and creating the space and the studio atmosphere and a creative atmosphere and an environment and an outlet to allow us to do this in a completely different way, to feed people, to be a beneficial presence in the immediate community that we find ourselves, wherever we will find ourselves, to be a beneficial presence in that immediate community, and also to be a presence, a growing presence, a growing inspiration, a growing avenue through which all of New Thought can figure out how to work better together. I've talked about this before. Unless we get some questions, I'm just going to keep going. And I've talked about this before, that if we come to this thing called life, through the lens of a New Thought community, whether that's divine science, religious science, whether that's unity, whether that's science of mind, whether that is agape or hillside or universal foundation for better living, or any New Thought Philadelphia, any of the various communities and organizations, INTA, ANTN, AGNT, any of these various avenues of higher learning, Emerson Institute and the Emerson New Thought Center. No matter how we come, no matter which lens we come to this, often the lens, the avenue, the conduit, the church, the center, the community, the organization that we first find is more than enough. It's often transformative and almost always life-changing, transformative in that way. And therefore, as seekers, as searchers, as students of this philosophy, we don't necessarily need to go other places. We don't need to go outside what we have found. But it is that type of silo-typed thinking that keeps this movement small. Because when I step away from the doors of the conventional organization through which I find myself entering New Thought, there is a much, much bigger playground out there. There is a much, much bigger playground of people out there that are doing amazing work. And I want to, I'm making a commitment to be more of that, to do more of that, to profile more of that, to platform more of that. I've said this, I've been saying this for a few years now, that as a middle-aged cisgendered white guy, I feel it is in many ways partially my responsibility, and not mine alone, but it is my responsibility to do everything I can to help platform and help those voices that would otherwise be marginalized be heard. That is how I can use some of my white privilege to give back, to make reparations. Not financial reparations in that regard, but a cosmic reparation, a spiritual reparation, a human reparation to those that have been oppressed and marginalized. Use what the privilege that is just given to me because of a lack of melanin in my life, that use that so that other voices may be heard. And I trust that if you take a look around New Thought Media Network, you are going to see just that. And that has been part of my personal philosophy in all of this from the very beginning, is not to let it just be a handful of middle-aged white guys. We got some less than middle-aged white guys. We got some white guys that aren't quite middle-aged yet. And I joke with myself because I trust you see that we have an intentional demonstration of exactly what I'm saying here. The work that we do at New Thought Media Network helps to platform voices that would otherwise be perhaps marginalized or sidelined, that we support creators across a wide gamut of the New Thought movement. And some that are more thought than new thought, some that are more new than thought. Yeah, I got to work on that one a little bit. Folks, if you've just wandered into this, perhaps just randomly found yourself clicking on a video and up this popped, you're watching Ask Me Anything on the New Thought Media Network. I'm Reverend Dr. Robert Brzezinski, And we want to thank the Center for Spiritual Living Boulder Valley for being a sponsor of tonight's program. I do this once a month. Come on and go off. Come on and go off. There we go. I come on, I go off on a tangent or a topic, and then at some point in time, usually about 90 minutes in, we run out of topics, or I run out of steam, and we shut it all down. But if you have any questions, you're welcome to ask. Now, if you are watching on a rebroadcast, obviously I'm not going to answer in the exact moment, but you are still welcome to share your thoughts and send in a question. I will get notified. I'll get a chance to take a look at it. I'll reach out to you with an answer, I promise. And as long as I'm still able to access my YouTube channel, if I'm still on the planet. Now, you might be finding this in 50 or 60 or 100 years in some archival hard drive going, what is this? Oh my gosh, this was when? 2020 what? So if that is the case, well, thanks for watching this long. Thanks for staying with us. Yeah, okay. I'm Dr. Robert. It's Friday night. It's Halloween, spooky night. And we're here to embrace the light. We're here to embrace the oneness of life and share the light of life, because we can, what I know is, yeah, there are things in the world right now that do look spooky. I'm not going to pretend they don't. Many of the people I know in New Thought, and I know a lot of people in New Thought, many of the people I know in New Thought recognize the spookiness that's happening right now, that's happening in the world. It's happening all over the world. And it is centered in our political system, specifically in North America right now. It is centered in the political systems across the planet. And it is centered in consciousness, in, well, a consciousness of division and separation. Plain and simple. I can tell the vision of someone simply by their approach to the topic of oneness, their approach to the word oneness. And so in that regard, that's really interesting. Why is that? Maybe that is why this keeps going. I'm going to have to find that. I'm going to have to check that out. So I got distracted by some of the analytics that they show us in the back office of our program here, trying to get a handle on who is watching. So my apologies for the delay. My apologies for the detour. I can get a little I can get a little distracted at times, and I appreciate you for allowing me that. So, all right, we are approaching the halfway point, the witching hour of our program here tonight. It's Halloween, and that means, and as it gets later, that means less and less kids, and more spookiness. I'll tell you this thing. I noticed something. It is now November, all right, almost November, 4 hours from November, and this won't change in the next 4 hours. And I have not seen snow in Arvada, Colorado just yet at all. Now, I sometime over the last 5 or 6 years now, this is probably the latest we've ever gone before at least having a skiff, a little snowfall, something to whiten the lawn, as it were. And I remember one year, it was early September, we had our first snowfall. And last year it was a little late. I forget exactly when it was in the month, but in which month it was. But this year, looking at the now, there's been snow up in the mountains. Don't get me wrong, there's snow up high. and there's probably accumulation of snow still sticking around up high. However, and I do know that one of our ski areas, Arapahoe Basin, opened this past weekend to one run, and some man-made snow and all that to get open. But it would appear, or well, it wouldn't appear, it's the truth. Down here where I live, we have yet to see any snow in the fall season. It's getting late. So, yeah, there you go. This is what happens, folks, when you let a minister babble on for 90 minutes unchecked, with no topic, with no direction, and no help. So if you'd like me to change the topic, ask a question. If I see a question pop up in the comments, I'll be sure to answer it. We'll give it the love and the attention that it deserves. So Dr. Robert, it's a good day here on the New Thought Media Network, and I'm grateful that you are with us here. I want to do a little something. I need to take a quick 1 minute break. So we're going to say thank you to some of our organizational sponsors and individual donors. And I'm going to be back in just a minute with a little bit more of Ask Me Anything. Stay tuned right here on the New Thought Media Network. We'll be right back. Please help us say thank you to our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Center for Spiritual Living on the Lake, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center, Ottawa, Om Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living, North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living, Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. Thank you for being part of the New Thought Media Network. Please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, positively inspiring. All right, we're back with more of Ask Me Anything here on the New Thought Media Network. It's the last Friday of the month. I'm Dr. Robert Brzezinski. Big thanks to our friends at the Center for Spiritual Living Boulder Valley for their sponsorship of all this. I had to run upstairs and run back down all in that time. So ask me anything. Shout out your questions in the comment box. I will be happy to give you a response. Otherwise, I'll find something to babble about. I can do that. Here's something. Jumps into my head. I let my head get clear for a minute, and it jumps into my head. And I might have to go do a little bit of research to give you all the right information, because I've been doing some work over the last maybe not quite a year now, where along with Reverend Dr. Deborah Johnson of the Inner Light Ministries has been doing a program that brings in a 1.5 hour play shop, has been bringing people together in order to utilize the visioning process, and at the same time, pulled by vision. Here we go. Nope, that's the October 11th. Let's see. All right, I don't have a banner for it, but here, I'm going to pull this up. It's called a socio-political play shop. That's what she's doing. So I want to, and it's really fun. I got to get rid of that, is what we want to do. Um, do, 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 do. Stop screen. Huh. Our wonderful program here has made more changes and made it a little more interesting to do what it is that I believed I was here to do. Okay. There we go. All right. So this is Dr. Deborah's. Now, this is for October. There is one coming up in November, and I cannot find a placard, an image for it, but it'll be the same kind of thing, 10 a.m. to noon Pacific time, so 11 to 1 Mountain time, coming up in just a couple of weeks here. And I'm one of the group facilitators for this. So it's a really fun way to be a part of something. And it's happening on next Saturday, the 8th. Yes, next Saturday, the 8th. And I will have to do a better job of getting you the proper link to get registered for it. And I'm not sure why it's not on that Facebook page, but it's a really, really fun way to be with others and to be able to serve a greater vision of what's emerging in the consciousness of our communities, in the consciousness of not just new thought, but in the consciousness of humanity. And that's what, to me, we're really all about here, is all of what we're doing is, well, for me, we're here to develop, I don't want to say it, we're here to serve the evolution of human consciousness. There we go. That's how I'm going to say it. We're here to serve the evolution of human consciousness. Now, in the earliest of stages, we do that by getting our own stuff in order. And perhaps not everything in your life is exactly the way you would like it to be, or is in perfect order from your perspective. But what I've come to learn is that when I suspend my human judgments of what's going on, what comes through is a divine realization that, yes, everything in my life is in perfect order right now for what's coming next. Everything is in absolute perfect order right now for the life that I designed before I incarnated in this human body. Everything is in a divine flow, that everything is working out. And thanks to the great philosopher who I cannot remember, but everything works out in the end. So if things are not working out, that means it's not the end. Hang in there. There's something more coming. If everything isn't working out, there's something more coming, because everything does work out. And in 20 years now, over 20 years that I've been involved in this philosophy, I had to do a bunch of work to get my stuff in order. I imagine you may say something similar, maybe able to say the same. But along the way, I was able to grow, and through various educational processes, don't get me wrong, there's a lot to be said for being in classes, lots of good classes and lots of good learning opportunities. And at a certain point, we learn the basics, we learn how to use these principles, these practices of new thought. We use those to get ourselves healthy, to get ourselves in order, to get ourselves beyond the trials and the tribulations, to move beyond the suffering, to get into that place of knowing that I am enough and there is enough, and together anything is, well, let's go back to where we started tonight with Marie Forleo. Everything is figure outable. And the titles that come along with all this stuff are simply just stepping stones. They're simply markers along the journey that say, wow, you've done a lot of work. And when we do the work consistently, when we do the work daily, when we do the work when we don't even want to, well, that's when we come to learn how to be able to amplify the work towards a much, much bigger vision than just what's going on in my life. You with me here? This isn't just about, well, going on and proving that I know what I'm talking about, because sometimes I don't, and most times I do. I try not to speak on things that I don't have a pretty good grasp of the topic. I don't go running around talking about nuclear fission or talking about how to do heart surgery, because I wouldn't sound very knowledgeable in many of those conversations. But in this conversation, in the conversation around human consciousness and the development of human consciousness and the activity of human consciousness, I have quite a bit of study. I've been a student for quite a while now, and I want to remind myself, and I do on a daily basis, remind myself that I am a student of all this. Now, no one's really offering the classes that I need. I don't want to say it that way. There's very few offering the types of classes and education that I resonate with, that will force me into that growth stage of where I am in the moment. And I do a pretty good job of keeping myself in that space anyway. I don't really need to sign up for another roots class or another, and that's not to put down, again, all of our classes, anywhere, Emerson Institute, CSL, Unity, whatever program you're involved with, stay involved with it. Follow the course. Because over time, and with that continual study, we come to a place where we embody all this a whole lot more, and in more impactful ways, in more service-oriented ways. A few years back, I'm trying to remember if we had started New Thought Media Network or if this was right before New Thought Media Network, but a few years back, I remember somebody, a friend, a colleague, had said something about doing a coat drive, and they were working with a teen outreach center. It was around the holidays, and the teen outreach center was doing a big drive with a lot of nonprofits across the region for coats, a coat drive, a used coat drive. And I got it in my head that I wasn't doing much in the way of, I think this was before New Thought Media Network. This was kind of in the burnout stage prior to that. And I wasn't doing much that felt like I was contributing, and I wanted to contribute something. And a friend mentioned this coat drive. And so I jumped on a social platform. I forget if it was Neighborhood or Neighbor or something that was focused by zip code. So I could narrow my search. And I put out a message to a specific couple of zip codes here where I live that, here's the deal, here's what's going on. If you've got a coat, please let me know. I'm going to arrange a day of pickups, and I'm going to arrange a whole day of picking up coats from all various locations around these two. And I went out one afternoon, and a lot of emails, a lot of back and forth, but very simple project. Came together miraculous, so easy. And I took a 4-hour block on an afternoon and drove around all these neighborhoods within this couple of zip codes sections, and picked up something like 60 or 70 coats. I forget the exact number, somewhere between 60 and 70. I don't remember exactly how close to 70 we were, but my memory says we didn't go over 70. And we had bags and bags and bags of coats. And my family, we sat and we looked at this abundance that wasn't ours and wasn't for us, but we were a necessary link in the chain to get this unlimited resource into a package that could be delivered, then that could be given to others. And I remember dropping off the coats so clearly that the people receiving them were so happy, because what I had done combined with what my friend had done and combined with a couple other of her friends had done, when we put all of that together and made one trip and dropped off one huge bundle of coats, the organization was so appreciative. And that's a couple of emails and a half day of work and a few hours of driving around town throwing bags of coats into my car. Maybe a couple more hours sorting them through and getting them into packaging so we could deliver them as a team. I started tonight's program talking about the need for community. That's just one more way that community can serve and support each other. Interestingly enough, I have not heard that organization has done the same coat drive in the past few years. They don't seem to do it anymore, and that's okay, because whether it's a coat drive or it's a food drive, and I think we're going to see a lot of those coming up soon, it's going to be a real need to support our neighbors, our friends, those that we might not realize right now are on the border of food insecurity. But there are more households in America right now tonight than ever before where someone is going to bed, where someone is going to sleep hungry. And food insecurity is a place where we can all be involved. So let's find a church with a kitchen and cook some pancakes. Find a way to distribute that food. My eldest is works with an organization called Food Not Bombs. And I don't know if it's on this program or others that I've talked about this recently, but I'm so incredibly proud of my eldest son, because he has become a leader within this really I'm going to just say it's a grassroots organization. And the name is Food Not Bombs. And their mission is simple. They're feeding the unhoused. Now, their way of doing that is really innovative. And they've partnered with the chapter here in Boulder. And my understanding is there are chapters across the country, and they each operate a little differently, and they all operate fairly independently. And there aren't a lot of rules and regulations. And the support is true, support from others is true support, not regulation of how you do it or any of that. And they take food that's about to expire or has just expired from supermarkets and other food market vendors, partner with churches to help with the storage of that food. But for the most part, what they collect on Saturday mornings, they cook on Saturday afternoons, and by Sunday early evening, 4:00, they have created meals. They've divvied up prepackaged food. They've used what resources they've been able to create to go out and deliver food to the unhoused in Boulder, Colorado. Noble work. A few hours on a Saturday. And most of their volunteers don't work the full day. There's a whole group of people that all they do is they pick up the food and they deliver it to the churches. and there's a whole group of people that do the work at the church and cook that food and get it ready to be served. And there's a whole group of people that pick it up and then take it out into the streets. And they have different places where they go to look for folks, and where they and sometimes they have to work around city projects, and sometimes they have to work around city events, and sometimes the people that have come to know they can get a good hot meal on Saturday night at 4 o'clock are left wondering where they are because of that. But if what my son tells me is they always find the people and they always serve the food. And it's rare that they come home with anything extra. And if they do, well, the churches will help to store it. We help to store some of it here in our house. The food serves the people, and the people are served by serving the food. Maybe that's not your thing. I'll say it again. But of all the projects out there, I'm sure there's something that is your thing. Maybe it's making sure that children have books to read. Maybe it's supporting a grassroots library, or a farm-to-table supermarket. Another great idea that I remember that my family and I spent a little bit of time up in Olympia, Washington, and one of the best markets was a co-op, and you could pay your co-op fees and membership to be a part of this market, and it was really good food and produce and well-sourced sundries and staples, and a really great place. And you could put in your hours towards your membership and work a certain number of hours over a year's time to in trade for the privilege to shop there, or you could just pay your membership. But they found a way to take the small independent boutique farmers and help them make a living by providing a stable outlet and helping the entire community to eat better. I keep giving myself a list of tasks to do, because now I got to go look, because I don't see that in Colorado. I haven't seen that in Colorado. And I want to find out who is doing something in that regard, because I want to be able to support them and promote them. And here we are back to platforming the voices that might otherwise be marginalized or left unheard. When I look at how I myself am being called, it's a very multi-passionate ministry. My dogs just started barking when I said that. It's a very multi-passionate ministry, because what I've learned from New Thought, more than anything, it's all about the people. It is all about the people. There are countless spiritual and religious philosophies out there that teach more or less the same thing. And you can create a life of success and a life of service and a life of Christ-like consciousness through many of those traditions, through any of those traditions, really. If you're devout, if you're in it to win it, if you're committed to it. For me, New Thought, well, it was the one that made sense. It was the one where the stories lined up. It was the ones where the promises came true. It's the place for me where my entire life has been shifted when I chose to make my life about service. And over time, I have strive to find as many ways as I could, and I can, to practice that, to be a part of that. We haven't even talked about things like Habitat for Humanity tonight. And when I was in Salt Lake City, our community there was involved with the local Habitat for Humanity. And here in Colorado, Mile High, I don't know if they still do it, but when I first got here to Mile High, there was involvement with the Habitat for Humanity organization, building houses, getting to work, doing the things. It's part of to me, it's part of what we do once we understand the basics of how all this works. Hello, Catherine. Multi-passionate is a great word. Yes, it is. That's another one. I cannot take credit for that. I got that one from Marie Forleo as well. She would refer to herself, and I've heard her say this, as a multi-passionate entrepreneur, which I could agree with in myself as well. And I realized that my greatest entrepreneurial journey in life thus far, and I cannot see that this changes anytime in the next 50 or 60 years, is ministry, is a new thought ministry. And in that, I think if we're not being multi-passionate, I think if we're so rigid that there is one way or only one thing, I don't want to dismiss anyone that's been successful by being laser focused on one message or one activity or one avenue through which to share this philosophy. But for me, that would be a really, really boring life. I had to talk to you about the same thing every time we got together. If I did not have the freedom to shift and move and serve in different ways and in different places over the 20 plus years I've been doing this now, I would probably not still be around. I would have burnt out long ago. For me, I want to taste the riches of life, of this human experience, and I get to taste the most authentic flavors for me are when humans are in service together. I saw a program today, and those that know me know that I really like disc golf, and I enjoy disc golf as a sport or some sort of exercise, activity, whatever you want to call it, hobby right now in my life. And in that, I was watching a program today where a number of professionals had been brought to a challenge, and part of the challenge was that they had to eat a hot wing before each round. And some of these folks were not at all familiar with the hobby of hot wings. Some of them were close to getting ill by the time the whole program was over. But and no, this part is not about feeding people. You thought I was going to go there, didn't you? Yeah. No. I'm forgetting where I was going to go with that. So we're going to wait until it comes back around in my mind. And when it does, I'll catch up with you all and we'll make sure we go there. So, but the premise of the program was that they had a putting competition, and in between each round or each hole of the tournament was a 9-hole experience. So they had 10 different levels of hot wings that they would have to go through. Each one of the players had a different level of tolerance and a different level of experience, not necessarily in disc golf, but in hot wings. And throughout the program, it was so really interesting to watch how each player changed, how their demeanor changed. Now I remember where we were going to go. And how their demeanor changed and how their behaviors changed. And one of the commentators said, or somebody in the chat box said, nothing like really spicy food for someone's true essence to come forth. And some of these players were starting again to get to that level of pain from the heat of these hot wings. Others were like chomping down the whole wing and at that same level of heat, not a problem. But some were having their tough time. And the commentator was saying nothing like the pain of this burning heat to reveal the people's true nature, how they really are. And that's, to me, not that it has to be painful, but it is through new thought, it is through this philosophy, it is through these practices that we come to discover, well, what pain pushes me to reveal my truth? What joy might push me to reveal my truth? But what is it that's going to move me to be the most authentic me there might possibly be? Yes. Sometimes in pain, we may meet the real human or real human. Now, I don't advocate this. I'm not saying go out and do something painful. And I'm not saying in any means, way, shape, or form that self-flagellation or self-abuse or cutting or any sort of self-inflicted pain is a key to freedom, to enlightenment, to any of that. What I want us, and because I really believe that when we really get this, we transcend the pain. The wing doesn't burn. We transcend once we've studied this and practiced this, and we're living this philosophy, the things that show up, the pain lessens. They are less painful until they become no pain, until the same event or activity that would have once triggered us into not enoughness, triggered us into judgment, triggered us into separation or division. Those events don't cause the pain that trigger us into a behavior. Those events come up and we look at them and go, wow, that's kind of interesting. Wonder what I can learn from this. Perhaps it's just the recognition that I don't allow myself to get triggered around these things anymore. And perhaps it's just a recognition that, wow, I am still triggered around that, or on this topic, or on this issue. We're going to come to meet ourselves in many ways. Don't discount the pain. Again, don't seek it out, but we don't discount it either. And my experience has been the only form of, I'm going to call it failure, is to not succeed. Now, I know that sounds like a paradox, because it kind of is. We have within us, as human beings, as divine expressions of the One, we have within us everything necessary and access to everything we don't know is necessary, but is, for the complete fulfillment of our life's mission. Sometimes we wake up to parts of that through pain. Sometimes we wake up to parts of that through joy. And the only way that we do not accomplish our life's mission, the only way that we do not fulfill our soul's purpose, is to give up and stop. Is to give up. So the only failure is to give up, is to not succeed. Because as long as we stay the course, as long as we stay in the game, As long as we keep believing in ourselves, in this universal power of oneness, as long as we keep doing the work, our success is assured. Does it always look like what I would want it to look like? No. And yes. Do I have as many zeros in my bank account as I would like? No. I'd like a few more zeros to the left of the decimal point. Like some numbers in there too, besides zero, right? And do I have financial freedom? Yes. Does it look like what others say it should look like? Perhaps. Can I be okay with what it looks like if I know that no matter what's going on, I have financial freedom? Yes. I have freedom of thought. Yes. I have freedom of movement. Yes. I have freedom of speech. Yes. And we have to be willing to do the work, the exercises, the practice to maintain that, to remind myself, because some days when an unexpected bill comes through the door, or it seems like there's not enough money, there's more month at the end of the month than there is money, or however that old saying goes, that I can relax into that deep knowing that I am served, supported, and fueled, funded by the divine. But there is no lack, there is no separation, there is our oneness. When it would appear that our country is headed towards revolt and our democracy is being destroyed from within, I need to be able to rely on the support of my own inner knowing that there is no separation in the mind of the divine, and that whatever this is we're experiencing, I have to come back to knowing our oneness. I have to come back to knowing that deeply we are one in this. When I'm in a small group and I'm in leadership and there is pushback, or there is disagreement, or there is someone forgetting the truth of how this all works, or there's someone that's trying to manipulate how this all works, or whatever those situations might be, to come back to that remembrance that our success is assured as long as we don't give up. As long as we keep going forward, as long as we keep moving beyond what we know and allowing ourselves to be a vessel, a conduit, a channel of divine inspiration, of wisdom, of insight, of everything that it is that we know within ourselves. My first teacher used to say, speak your truth and speak it fast. Don't leave room for doubt. Speak your truth and speak it fast. Don't leave room for doubt. If you don't believe in the vision you're holding, who will? Now, I know that doesn't really pertain to anybody here, because if you're here and you're still with me after an hour and almost 20 minutes here, and you're here and you're with me, I got a pretty good belief in my mind that you're the type of person that's going to hold to your belief, that's going to hold to your vision, that's going to say, this is the truth as I see it, and I want to make this truth known. I want this truth to be made manifest. I want everyone I encounter to know that there is more than enough food and resources on this planet for them, so that no one need go hungry, so that no one need go cold on a winter night, so that everyone may recognize there is enough shelter, there are enough homes, there is enough of everything on this planet right now. Not something we got to wait for. We don't have to wait for some harvest. There is more than enough of everything necessary for the complete and total fulfillment of everyone's life mission on the planet at this time. It may not be sitting in my living room or in my garage or even in my pantry, But when we can hold to that remembrance of this deeper truth that we are one, that there is no lack or limitation, that even if there isn't enough food today, there is food today, and tomorrow there is a new day. And even if it doesn't look like there's enough money today, there is enough because you've made it to this point today, and tomorrow there is a new day, and a new way shall be made. You are enough. Who you are makes a difference on this planet. How you show up matters. You are a unique emanation of God's life, and no one can do what you are here to do. And what I know is that means that this world would be a lesser place without you, without the gifts that you bring, without the gifts that only you can bring. And together, not alone, not separate. I'm not asking anybody to go alone. And if you don't feel you have someone in your life or some avenue in your life to help you demonstrate and manifest the great service you are here to give, the great good you are here to demonstrate, if you're not sure of how that's supposed to happen, well, then you're in the exact right place. Because that's what New Thought Media Network is all about. Helping people, helping creators figure out how to make this stuff real in the world. Whether that's a talk show, or whether that's a service project, whether that is the administrative work behind the scenes that keeps it all glued together, whether that's doing the books or creating animated commercials. Everyone on this planet is here in service to the evolution of human consciousness. And what I know about consciousness is consciousness's cause. Consciousness comes first, but it would not be complete without the activity that fulfills it into manifest form. Consciousness is nothing without our hands doing the work. We can have the consciousness of Jesus, and somebody is still going to have to make a rope, feed the people, provide shelter, and maybe tip over a money changer's table once in a while. You do you. You get to do you. It is the universe's great pleasure for you to do you. Be who you came here to be. So that's what you get, folks. That's what an hour and a half of metaphysical exploration of life looks like, or at least that's what it looked like tonight. It's a spooky Halloween. But it's only spooky for those that don't understand this. For those that do, I trust you see the light. I trust you can recognize the light. That it doesn't look that dark outside your door. That you can see, and you're committed to being a vessel, a conduit through which the light of the one shines more brightly than ever before. Thank you. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being a part of what we're doing here on the New Thought Media Network. I'm Dr. Robert. I'm going to get out of here because I feel complete. And yeah, we're at 85 minutes. So I don't feel I need to belabor the point anymore at this point. But, I don't need to belabor the point at this point. I guess that would be true. I could make some more dad some very bad dad jokes for the next 5 minutes, or 4.5 now if you wanted. But I think we're probably pretty good. So I'm going to get out of here for now, folks. Thanks for being with us. Please join us tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Mountain Time. Now, normal morning prayers are at 8:15, and then at 9 a.m. Mountain Time, it is our Science of Mind and Spirit conversation series. It happens every Saturday morning. Reverend, I gave her a reverend. You don't have one yet. Dr. Tracy Brown will be with us tomorrow, and we'll be exploring resources from the Science of Mind archives. That starts right here on the New Thought Media Network, 9 a.m. tomorrow on Saturday. And if just in case we need to say it again and again, it's not tonight, it's tomorrow night that you want to set your clocks back an hour. So, and because if you don't, you're going to be late for church on Sunday. So set your clocks back tomorrow night. I'm Dr. Robert. I'm going to get out of here for now. I love you. I think you're amazing. I really look forward to the next time we can give each other a physical hug and we're together in a physical community. But until then, I appreciate you're a part of this virtual community we're building called the New Thought Media Network. Until next time, I wish you peace and richest blessings. Bye now.